stern action against those who spread 3R sentiments during state polls. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mohonapriya and you're watching Updates at Noon. Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, today consented to the dissolution of the Selangor State Assembly effective Friday. This is to pave the way for state elections to be held. This was announced by the Sultan of Selangor's private secretary, Dato' Muhammad Munir Bani, at a ceremony on the dissolution of the State Assembly at Balai Dewan Diraja, Istana Alam Shah. His Highness also signed the proclamation on the dissolution of the State Assembly. Earlier, Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Amiruddin Syari had an audience with the Sultan of Selangor to seek His Highness' consent to dissolve the State Assembly. Also present at the ceremony was Raja Muda of Selangor, Tengku Amir Shah Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah. Selangor is among the 6 states holding elections this year. The others are Negeri Sembilan, Pulau Pinang, Kelantan, Kedah and Terengganu. Kelantan will dissolve its state legislative assembly on Thursday, Pulau Pinang on 28th June and Negeri Sembilan on 30th June. 2 former ministers and a former deputy minister were sworn in as senators today. They took their oath of office before acting president of the Dewan Negara, Senator Professor Datuk Sri Dr. Awang Sarian. They are former Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Parliament and Law, Tan Sri Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, former Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs, Datuk Sri Dr. Mujahid Yusof, and former Deputy Home Minister, Datuk Nur Jazlan Muhammad. Tan Sri Wan Junaidi and Datuk Nur Jazlan were appointed by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, while Datuk Sri Dr. Mujahid was elected by the Perak State Legislative Assembly on 25th May to represent the state as senator. The Dewan Negara will sit for 6 days from today. The Majlis Ilmu Madani talks are organised in line with efforts to give the people an understanding of the meaning of the Madani nation introduced by the government. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said it mainly involves the basic values of the formation of a Madani state, which are strong beliefs, good morals and the development of true Islamic character.
Dan gunakan ini untuk menerapkan nilai dalam pelbagai bidang, dalam kemampanan ekonomi, dalam teknologi digital, dalam konsep ihsan dan rahmah untuk mengurangkan beban rakyat miskin dan pembelaan umat secara keseluruhannya.
Datuk Sri Anwar said this in his brief speech when attending the Majlis Ilmu Madani with the Prime Minister event at the Sri Perdana Complex last night. The Prime Minister then spent about an hour following a knowledge-sharing session with the 3 invited guests, namely the Imam of the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Palestine, Sheikh Dr. Ekrimah Sabri, United Kingdom religious scholar, Sheikh Ahmad Muhammad Saad Al-Maliki Al-Azhari Al-Hassani, and religious scholar from Gambia, Sheikh Muhammad Haidara Al-Jilani. All parties must refrain from spreading sentiments that touch on racial, religious sensitivities and royalty during the upcoming state polls. Communications and Digital Minister Fahmi Fadzil issued a stern warning that legal action will be taken against those who do so, regardless of their affiliation. He said the country's democracy should not be tainted by irresponsible parties with the excuse that it was their right and freedom of speech, as what happened during the 15th general election.
Ada pihak-pihak tertentu yang secara tidak bertanggungjawab, sangat tidak bertanggungjawab, sengaja menyebarkan bahan-bahan 3R, terutama pada PRU ke-15 yang lalu. Ini tidak akan berlaku. Kita tidak mahu demokrasi disalahguna atas dasar kebebasan bersuara untuk pihak-pihak yang tidak bertanggungjawab ini mengulangi sikap mereka pada PRU yang lalu dengan menyebar bahan-bahan yang sangat merosakkan sama ada keharmonian maupun akidah rakyat Malaysia.
The minister was met after attending the closing ceremony of the Cybersecurity, Digital Economy and Connectivity Awareness Campaign at Pantai Permai Housing Project in Kuala Lumpur. To curb the spread of 3R-related information, the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission has been instructed to step up monitoring efforts during the upcoming elections for Selangor, Kedah, Kelantan, Terengganu, Negeri Sembilan and Penang. On another note, the minister said the Personal Data Protection Act 2010 needs to be amended to prevent personal data from being stolen and used in fraud. Fahmi said the matter is important considering most fraud incidents occurred after the personal data of the victims was stolen.
Ini saya jangka seawal bulan Disember atau selewat bulan Mac. Ini penting kerana kebanyakan daripada insiden scammer berlaku dengan maklumat yang telah dicuri oleh pihak yang tidak bertanggungjawab akibat kebiasaannya sama ada kecuaian ataupun kelemahan keselamatan cyber oleh pihak yang mengendali ataupun menyimpan maupun memproses data peribadi.
Fahmi said when the draft bill is ready, it will be brought to the Attorney General's chambers to be studied before being tabled in Parliament. Last week, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim announced that the bill would be expedited to ensure all legal aspects relating to cybersecurity are covered. Majlis Amanah Rakyat MARA does not take allegations involving integrity or leaks in the agency's administration lightly or brush them aside. Its chairman, Dr. Ashraf Wajdi Dusuki, said so far he is satisfied with the management of MARA and will always ensure the agency's governance is at the best level.
Our target is zero isu-isu yang melibatkan corruption, isu yang melibatkan integrity. Maknanya kita nak pastikan ini adalah institusi yang membawa amanah rakyat. Nama pun Majlis Amanah Rakyat MARA. Jadi dia mesti lebih putih daripada putih. It has to be whiter than white. Dan itulah antara perkara yang pertama yang saya lakukan bila saya masuk. Kita pastikan semuanya berada pada tahap yang paling tertinggi dan
He said this when asked about the poison pen letter that was addressed to him and went viral on the Telegram application, highlighting allegations of leakage in MARA's management, especially involving the entrepreneurial sector. An elderly couple was killed after the four-wheel drive vehicle they were travelling in crashed into a trailer lorry at the East Coast Expressway 2 LPT2, Bukit Besi Ajil, last night. Muhammad Ghani, 68, and his wife Mina Abdullah, 69, from Kampung Tok Rimau in Kuala Terengganu, died on the spot from severe body injuries during the 9 p.m. incident. Hulu Terengganu District Police Chief DSP Hasmira Hassan said preliminary investigations found that the victims were believed to be travelling from Kuantan to Kuala Terengganu when the vehicle, driven by her son, rear-ended a trailer lorry carrying oil palm dregs, which was heading to Kota Baru on the left lane. The impact of the crash had caused severe damage to the front part of the vehicle. The couple's son suffered broken legs, while the lorry driver and his attendant escaped unhurt. Hasmira said firemen from the Bandar Al Muqtafi Billah Shah Fire and Rescue Station at the scene removed the bodies from the vehicle before being sent to the Hulu Terengganu Hospital for an autopsy. The case was being investigated under Section 41, Subsection 1 of the Road Transport Act 1987. On the foreign front, 22 injured, 1 killed at Juneteenth celebration. You're watching Updates at Noon. The United States and China agreed to expand dialogue to try to bring relations back from historic lows, as Secretary of State Anthony Blinken held what officials called candid talks on soaring tensions during a rare trip to Beijing. Now, the highest-ranking U.S. visitor to Beijing in nearly 5 years, Blinken spoke to his Chinese counterpart for 7.5 hours over a banquet dinner. The two sides said Foreign Minister Qin Gang agreed to pay a return visit to Washington at a later date and that the two top diplomats would work together to expand flights between the world's two largest economies, which remain at a bare minimum since the COVID-19 pandemic. Behind closed doors, Qin told Blinken that relations between the United States and China are at the lowest point since the establishment of diplomatic relations. He added this does not conform to the fundamental interests of the two peoples, nor does it meet the common expectations of the international community. Blinken will hold a second day of meetings today and is expected to address reporters before leaving the country. At least 22 people were shot and one was killed in Chicago at a Juneteenth celebration shortly after midnight on Sunday. DuPage County Police said a crowd gathered for a party in a parking lot and the police were already in the area monitoring the scene since 6 p.m. Around 12:25 a.m. local time, police were called away due to an alleged 911 call of a fight that had broken out nearby. As deputies responded, they heard gunshots and immediately returned to the gathering. There, an unknown number of suspects fired multiple rounds into the crowd. Witnesses say a car drove up and someone in the passenger side opened fire. Between 20 and 30 gunshots were fired into a crowd of over 200 teens and young adults. The ages and conditions of the victim are not revealed as of now, and there is no word on a possible motive. Juneteenth is a U.S. federal holiday commemorating the emancipation of enslaved Black Americans. A cyclone tore through southern Brazil, killing at least 13 people and displacing thousands of others. Torrential rain and strong winds caused damage in dozens of towns in Rio Grande do Sul state, in the latest in a string of climate disasters in the South American country. Local media reported a 4-month-old baby was among the fatalities. A total of 3,713 people were left with damaged houses and 697 were evacuated from areas at risk from the cyclone. In Kerana, the state firefighters had rescued about 2,400 people over the past 2 days. Brazil has been hit by a series of deadly weather disasters in recent years, which experts say are being made worse by climate change. At least 65 people died in February when torrential rain triggered floods and landslides in the southeastern state of Sao Paulo. Grieving families bury their dead in western Uganda while others search desperately for missing loved ones after militants killed dozens of students in a school attack. Officials say at least 41 people, mostly students, were massacred on Friday in the worst attack of its kind in Uganda since 2010. President Yoweri Museveni, in his first statement since the attack, vowed to hunt the militants into extinction. Relatives bid farewell to Bella Montoya, a 76-year-old woman who had woken up inside the coffin during her own wake on 14th June in Babahoyo, western Ecuador. After she was found alive, the woman was taken to the same state hospital that had declared her dead on 9th of June. She eventually died on the 16th of June. The District of Columbia consistently make the top 5 list of America's rattiest cities. Now, some people are fighting back with a group of local dog owners patrol the city's alleys, using their dogs to sniff out and kill rats. For businesses, Blue Collar Cats program allows businesses owners to take in a street cat to act as a rodent deterrent. Spain win Nations League final on penalties. That and more next in sports.
Kecemasan boleh saya bantu?
Hello, there's been a motorcycle accident here. Maybe an elephant ran it over.
Sir, there is fire accident at the address number 5 Jalan Tembikar Shah Alam.
PGO from FRT Shah Alam, there was no fire accident here. Over.
MERS 999. Use it wisely.
Youth and Sports Minister Hannah Yeoh congratulated national track cycling champion Datuk Muhammad Azizul Hasni Awang, who won the double gold at the Asian Track Cycling Championship ACC at the National Velodrome in Nilai. Hannah said she will ensure the meeting with the Road to Gold Committee to be held today to discuss Datuk Muhammad Azizul Hasni's needs to ensure his continued success at the international level. Datuk Muhammad Azizul Hasni, popularly known as the Pocket Rocket Man, won the men's Kirin Gold after overcoming a strong challenge from 3 Japanese riders. His success gave him a personal record of his 12th gold at ACC, apart from ending his 8-year wait to be reinstalled as the Asian King of Kirin, an honour he last won in the 2015 edition in Nakhon Ratchasima, Thailand. Muhammad Azizul Hasni also grabbed his 11th ACC gold last Friday after triumphing in the sprint event for the 7th time, following his earlier victories in 2008, 2009, 2014, 2017, 2019 and 2020. National men's badminton doubles pair Aaron Chia So Woo Yik missed out on being crowned the new men's doubles champions of the 2023 Indonesia Open after losing to the Indian pair of Satwik Sairaj Ranki Reddy Chirag Shetty in the final. The world's third-ranked pair lost in straight sets 21-17, 21-18 in 43 minutes, which was also their first loss to the Indian top doubles in 9 meetings. Aaron Woo Yik, who last won the World Championship in August 2022, failed to dominate the entire game, while the Indian pair played without any pressure. In last year's edition, Aaron Woo Yik were defeated by Chinese doubles Liu Yu-chin, Oh Chuan Yi, 18-21, 13-21 in the semi-finals. Meanwhile, Badminton Association of Malaysia doubles coaching director Rexy Mainaki praised Aaron Woo Yik's determination and game, which has changed a lot. He added that both need to continue playing aggressively and maintain consistency and improve physical and individual training. Dani Carvajal chipped home a penalty to win the Spain Nations League on Sunday with a 5-4 shootout victory over Croatia. Spain goalkeeper Unai Simon denied Lovro Meyer and Bruno Petkovic from the spot before the Carvajal cheekily chipped home to earn La Roja their first trophy since Euro 2012 and break Croatian hearts. The victory is a confident boost for new Spain coach Luis de la Fuente after heavy criticism in March after a defeat by Scotland in Euro 2024 qualifying. It also avenged their 2021 final defeat by France.
Bueno, yo siempre os he dicho que conozco muy bien a esta generación, a estas generaciones, y a mí nunca me han fallado. Entonces sabía que cuando se les exigiera el máximo iban a estar a la altura. En cualquier caso hubieran estado, en no hubiéramos ganado. Yo hubiera estado también muy feliz porque han hecho un trabajazo para enmarcar. Obviamente ganar pues te le da más brillo y te da ese lustre que decía ayer, ¿no? Y estamos mucho más felices, lógicamente, pero de verdad que es eso, simplemente dejarles que desarrollen todo su potencial, que tienen muchísimo y todavía esperan más. Si Dios quiere, en el futuro nos esperan todavía muchas alegrías.
Spain became the second country to have won the World Cup, Euros and Nations League after France in 2021. Meanwhile, World Cup champions Argentina are set to take on 149th ranked Indonesia today without captain Lionel Messi, who will be rested along with Angel Di Maria and Nicolas Otamendi. Argentina head coach Lionel Scaloni said the squad rotation was not because of the opponent team, but he wanted to give opportunity for younger players to show their potential.
Bueno, Messi está descansando. Yo he decidido que tanto él como Di María y como Otamendi necesitaban descansar y ya estaba desde antes pensado. Y bueno, jugaremos selección Argentina, que es lo más importante. Argentina está muy por encima de cualquier jugador. En este caso Leo no está, pero están los demás y espero que la gente lo disfrute.
Shin Tae-yong, the Indonesia head coach, said the match will be difficult to win for Indonesia, but is hoping for a learning experience for the players. Though football is huge in the country of 270 million people, Indonesia has struggled to make its mark in the international games since their single World Cup appearance back in 1938 as the Dutch East Indies. Argentina and Indonesia last met in the World Youth Championship in Japan in 1979, a match in which the great Diego Maradona played, where the latter lost 5-0. Max Verstappen won the Canadian Grand Prix from pole position on Sunday to stretch his Formula One championship lead and take Red Bull's milestone 100th victory. Now, the Dutch 25-year-old led every lap as he took his career tally to 41 wins, stepping up alongside Brazil's late triple champion Ayrton Senna in the record books. Fernando Alonso finished second for Aston Martin at Montreal's Circuit Guy Villeneuve, with Britain's 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton third for Mercedes. Red Bull have won every race so far this season, and this was Verstappen's 6th of the campaign and 4th in a row. While Red Bull toasted a landmark victory, it was not a perfect day for the team, as Sergio Perez's worrying run of below-par performances continued, with the Mexican failing to get on the podium for the third consecutive race. Hamilton's third place provided more proof that Mercedes are heading in the right direction as the team looks to close the gap on the rampaging Red Bulls. It is the second consecutive Grand Prix Hamilton has appeared on the podium, while teammate George Russell had looked a threat until spinning into the wall early in the race, damaging his car and did not finish the race. Hamilton was followed home by the two Ferraris, with Charles Leclerc taking 4th and Carlos Sainz 5th. And in MotoGP, Spaniard Jorge Martin won the German Grand Prix for Pramac Racing after a thrilling duel with Ducati's reigning champion, Francesco Bagnaia, that reignited the title battle, with the pair crossing the line at 0.064 of a second apart. Take a look. Their Ducatis were so close that they touched on the penultimate lap as Italian Bagnaia threw everything at his rival in a bid to get back in front. Martin's French teammate Johan Zarco completed the podium at the Sachsenring circuit after KTM's Brad Binder crashed out of the third on lap 19, as Ducati riders filled the top 5 places and 8 of the top 9. Bagnaia started on pole position but lost out immediately as Jack Miller, third on the grid for KTM, shot into the lead. The Australian's time at the front was brief, with Bagnaia swiftly taking over, but Martin then coming through 2 laps later and pulling away in the hot and greasy conditions. The battle really got spicy on the 21st of 30 laps when Bagnaia took the lead back, only for Martin to surge ahead again 3 laps later. The pair crossed the line for the last time almost side by side. France's TFO overcame Jan-Lennard Struff in a thrilling final at the Boss Open to lift his 3rd tour-level title. Now, the American saved 1 championship point to defeat the 33-year-old German 4-6, 7-6, 7-6. In a heavy-hitting encounter at the ATP 250 event, TFO and Struff exchanged blows for 2 hours and 12 minutes. Struff struck 56 winners to 36 from TFO and saved all 3 breakpoints he faced. However, he fell short of a maiden tour-level crown, with TFO sealing victory in a dramatic third-set tiebreak with a stretched volley winner. The third seed, who saved the championship point at 6-7 in the third set tiebreak, will break into the top 10 of the Pepperstone ADP rankings for the first time following his 27th win of the season. The 25-year-old TFO has now earned 3 tour-level trophies, having also triumphed in Houston earlier this year. The win also marks his first title on the grass court.
Anda mahu berbayar internet mudah alih pada harga yang murah? Satu lagi inisiatif kerajaan perpaduan di bawah KKD untuk golongan B40, penjimatan 22% dengan harga RM69 sebulan, berkelajuan 30 Mbps bersama data tanpa had. Pakej perpaduan internet semuanya ada untuk anda bermula Mac 2023. Pakej perpaduan internet untuk semua.
And that concludes today's edition of Updates at Noon. In our top story today, Selangor State Assembly to be dissolved on Friday. Do you tune in to Malaysia Tonight, coming up later at 8:30 on saluran Berita RTM. Now, before we go, take a look at images of residents of villages in southern Peru cutting koya grass and weaving ropes to build the Quechua Chaka rope bridge. Now, this bridge was inscribed in 2013 in the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Till then, I'm Mohana Priya, Malaysia Madani, Dekat Perpaduan, Penuhi Harapan.